So in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how you're going to use Tomcat in your web application development. So Tomcat is an application server which is in which you can deploy Java-based web applications. And if you see the Tomcat installation, I have it installed in my dev apps folder, and in here you can see the Tomcat installation. And under web apps, you'll see that all the different web applications are deployed. They can be deployed either as a WAR file, or they can be deployed in a exploded directory format. So let's see how we're going to deploy and build, install, and deploy an application. So what you do is you go into the Spring App folder and enter ant, and in this folder it expects a build XML file, and it's going to read all the targets from the build XML file, and the default target is usage, so it's going to show you the usage of how you can use this build XML file. So in this build XML file you can build the targets by running ant build, and ant build is going to compile all your source code, and then you can deploy it as a WAR file or you can deploy it as a directory. I'm going to deploy this as a directory. So the command that you use is ant deploy, and if you want to deploy as a WAR file, you use ant deploy WAR. So let's do ant deploy, and this is going to deploy the application into Tomcat. And if you see this, you'll see that it copies everything into the web apps folder within the Tomcat installation, and under the web app folder you'll see a Spring App folder. So let's go and see that over here. So under web apps, under Tomcat, you see the Spring App folder, and under Spring App you see that it is a exploded directory containing the WAR file for your web application. And the way you start Tomcat is by going into the Tomcat bin folder, open a command prompt from that folder and run startup.bat, and this is going to run Tomcat, and by default any web applications installed in the web apps folder will get automatically started. And then you can go to this URL and start your web application, and you can see that the web application is deployed. And then you can start and stop your web application by entering stop to stop it and start to start the web application. So and stop is going to stop the web application which is in /Spring App under the root of the web applications. So if I do a refresh here, you will not be able to access the Spring App application. And then in order to start it, you just say and start, and then it's going to start. No, you need to do a start from the folder containing the build XML file. And when you enter and start, it's going to start the application. Once it's started, you can go and refresh it in the browser, and you should be able to see your application running. So let's look at the build XML file, which has all these targets. And in this build XML file, you'll see that the default target is basically usage, and if you search for usage, the default target is defined over here for this project as usage, and usage is just going to echo this message, and it's going to show you all the different targets that are available here. So you can do the build of the application, which basically compiles your source code by running the javac command, and then deploy is going to deploy the application into Tomcat, And if you see, this is the deploy target, and it's going to copy everything into the web into the deploy path. And the deploy path is defined in the build.properties file. So let's open the build.properties file. And in the build.properties file, you will see that the deploy path is the app server home / web apps folder. And the app server home is nothing but your Tomcat installation. So this is how the build XML file is configured. And the build XML file is in my Spring App folder. So let me open that. So the default target is usage, and then there is a target to clean everything. There's a target to clean the output folders. There's a target to compile everything. There's a target to deploy to the web apps folder. And then there's a target which deploys the application as a WAR file. The first thing it needs to do is create a WAR file and then copy the WAR file to the web apps folder within the Tomcat installation. And then we have targets to reload the web application. There's a target to list all the web applications deployed. There's a target to start the web application. There's a target to stop the web application. There's a target to install the web application. And then we also have a target to undeploy the web application. So you always stop the web application and then undeploy it. And then you deploy the web application and start the web application. And all these targets are run from the command line. So if you just run ant, it's going to show you all the different targets that are available. Start is going to start the web application, stop is going to stop the web application, list is going to list all the web applications, and let's say you make some changes to your application and deploy it. You can reload the application in Tomcat by running ant reload. Okay, so this is how we use Tomcat in web application development.